Ada haiwan dalam bahaya. Ada haiwan dalam bahaya di sana. Apa yang penting? Kerja sama. Apa yang penting? Kerja sama. Mana best kami datang. Membantu rakyat yang tersusah.
Acid sulfuric, also known as H2SO4, is one of the important chemicals that we use in our daily life right now. Because one of the example of acid sulfuric use is to bring back wastewater back to normal pH value. Next, for pulp and paper industry, pulp is one of the material that we use to make paper, and the paper is usually the sheet that we use to write it and print it. Paper usually made up from the fiber cellulose and from wood chips, which are dry and waterproof. While pulp is moist, soft, and shapeless matter.
Right guys, let's move to the production of sulfuric acid. Have you guys ever wondered how the sulfuric acid is made? Let's talk about this. There are 3 stages of production of sulfuric acid in this industry. This is called contact process. The first stage of production of concentrated sulfuric acid can be done by 2 methods. This stage of this method will produce sulfur dioxide gas. The first method is by burning sulfur in dry air in the furnace. From the equation, you can see that sulfur react with oxygen will produce sulfur dioxide gas. The second method is by burning metal sulfide such as zinc sulfide and iron sulfide in dry air. Based on the equation, you can see that zinc sulfide will react with oxygen and produce zinc oxide and sulfur dioxide gas. That's all for stage 1. Let's move on to stage 2. This stage is done for conversion of sulfur dioxide to sulfur trioxide. The sulfur dioxide will be dried and purified before being added to dry air to produce sulfur trioxide gas. This is to remove water vapor in the air because the reaction of water with sulfur trioxide will produce heat and then vaporize the acid. Then, to remove the contaminant that found in sulfide and sulfide minerals that will poison the catalyst and make it ineffective. The poor and dry sulfur dioxide with excess dry oxygen from air is passed through a converter. This high percentage of sulfur dioxide is converted into sulfur trioxide under the following condition. The first one is the presence of vanadium oxide as a catalyst, and the second one with temperature of between 450 degree until 550 degree. The last one is with the pressure at 1 atmosphere. That's all for stage 2.
Now that we know the first 2 stages of the contact process, let me tell you some additional information about sulfur dioxide. From HUSNINA's explanation, we understand that sulfur dioxide is the intermediate product of contact process. Besides contact process, sulfur dioxide can also be produced from volcano eruptions, burning of fossil fuels, and also from factories. As we all know, sulfur dioxide is a poisonous and acidic gas that can cause pollution. You must be wondering, how can sulfur dioxide causes pollution? Let me tell you. When sulfur dioxide dissolved in atmospheric water in the air, it will produce sulfurous acid and sulfuric acid. The presence of these substances in the rainwater will cause acid rain. Due to the formation of acid rain, our plants and trees will be destroyed and our soil will become acidic, making it hard for plants to grow. Other than that, the acidity of our water source such as rivers and lakes will increase. This may lead to the death of marine lives. After knowing the bad effects of sulfur dioxide, wouldn't you want to know how to reduce it? Great, let me tell you. First, we can start using low sulfur fuels to reduce its emission in exhaust gases. Second, we can remove sulfur dioxide in waste air by treating it with calcium carbonate before releasing it. Alright, let's move on to the final stage where sulfuric acid is finally produced. In the absorber, sulfur trioxide is dissolved in concentrated sulfuric acid to produce oleum, which is a viscous liquid. The oleum is then diluted with equal amount of water to produce sulfuric acid. This sulfuric acid is typically in the concentration of 98%. So this is how sulfuric acid is produced. But wait, aren't the 2 reactions that I have just mentioned is equivalent to adding sulfur trioxide to water? Why can't we just add sulfur trioxide to water? There are 2 reasons why. The first one is because sulfur trioxide have low solubility in water. And the second one is sulfur trioxide reacts violently in water, producing a large amount of heat that vaporizes the sulfuric acid to acid mist.
Look at here. These are the three uses of sulfuric acid in our discussion. The first one is the chlorine dioxide generation. We use sulfuric acid in the chlorine dioxide generation for the bleaching of paper. The second one is the tall oil splitting. This oil is the byproduct of the craft process in the pulp manufacture. And the third one is for pH adjustment. We need the right pH adjustment so that we can get the paper in the high quality, okay? Here, I want to bring you to discover more about chlorine dioxide generation. The chemical we use is the sodium chlorate, sulfuric acid, and also methanol. We mix them together and this process is named Solvay process. What do you guys think is formed in this reaction? Could you write the chemical equation? Yes, that's true. The product formed is the chlorine dioxide and the chemical equation is like this. However, another byproduct produced is the sodium bisulfate, formic acid, and also water. Actually, chlorine dioxide is very important in the pulp and paper industry because it is a good oxidizing agent. So, it can bleach the pulp. When we bleach the pulp, we can remove the lignin of the pulp and the paper produced is in white and also colored paper. So, it is good for us to use it.
So let's move to the next point. Besides chlorine dioxide generation, sulfuric acid is also used in tall oil splitting. So what is tall oil? Tall oil is a mixture of mainly acidic compound found in pine trees and obtained as a byproduct of the pulp and paper industry. It is used as a resin in many different industries including mining, paper manufacture, paint manufacture, and synthetic rubber manufacture. It is extracted at the pulp and paper mill and undergoes the first two processing steps here. The first step is when the black liquor from the paper making process is concentrated and left to settle. And the top layer, known as tall oil soap, is skimmed off. The tall oil soap is then goes to acidulator to undergo acidulation process. And this is where the sulfuric acid is reacted with tall oil soap to form crude tall oil. So this crude tall oil is distilled into 5 components with different boiling point, which one of them is tall oil rosin. So for your information, the tall oil rosin is added to paper pulp to increase resistance to water and other liquid. Hence, we can conclude that sulfuric acid is for acidulation process and also separate tall oil. Next, sulfuric acid is also used in controlling the pH value. This is because sulfuric acid is used to neutralize the sodium bisulfate, the product from the chloride dioxide generation. And also during the making of pulp and paper, strong pH is required to remove lignin and other color substance. And lastly, most of cases in paper production require almost neutral pH value.
Acid sulfuric has important role in making acid-lit batteries, harvesting potatoes, and treating wastewater. It is also have major role in making a fertilizer, manufacture chemicals, and making detergent. Without acid sulfuric, pulp and paper industry won't exist. Same goes in life. If we want to success in our life, it's require a first step.